Hello everybody! Welcome to Love Life, Give Care. Today we are going to do a walkthrough on the farm in the winter time to uncover what is underneath all of that snow to see if there's something out there for us to eat. And here's Patrick uncovering the cauliflower that we should have harvested before the snow, but that's okay. A lot of this cauliflower was still edible. We just had to cut off some bad parts. The food you harvest out in the field isn't always going to look as perfect as something you would find in the grocery store, so it's important to be resourceful and glean as much as you can off of the food. You can see here on the tops, the black parts. We just cut that off and the rest was good. And here's Mark. This is Shelby's dad. He is uncovering the cabbage. And there's Patrick. The cabbage actually was probably the crop that did most well with all of the snow on top of it. It preserved it, pretty good shape. The only damage, aside from some of the bugs early in the season, was a little bit of frost damage. As you can see here, he is going to pull off those outer leaves, and you'll see some of that is got some holes in it from the bugs and some frost damage. No big deal, just peel off those extra layers. Everything's still good to eat. And there's the cows hanging out underneath the cedar tree. Here we are over in the carrot patch. This patch was not mulched. You could do that and that might help it stay more protected. A lot of people dig up their carrots actually and will store them in the root cellar, as you could do that as well. But carrots are gonna look a lot different than what you buy in the store. They're not always perfectly straight, or they split sometimes, and I'm still learning how to do that better, I guess. But you clean them up, get all that extra stuff off of them, and wash them and peel them. It's a little extra work, but in the end, these carrots tasted amazing, and I would hands down go dig these carrots up out of the ground rather than go buy it from the store any day of the week. So a whole 50-foot row of carrots should last us most of the way through when the next batch is going to be ready to be harvested. Moving on to the kale patch. You can look at these plants and see that something has come in here and eaten the leaf all the way down to the rib on most of these plants. So something was really hungry. For a while there, we didn't really know what it was. It didn't seem to be rabbits, or, I can't imagine where the deer were getting in. But then Mark told me the other day that he thinks it was a mob of sparrows, maybe, or some other small bird that come in seasonally, and there's just so little to eat out there right now that they came in and just completely devastated this kale crop. However, as you can see, some of them were left untouched, and we were able to get some good quality kale out of there and make a nice big salad out of it. So this concludes the portion where we are looking at the farm after it had just snowed and dumped about 2 to 3 feet of snow down on the farm. And next, we will be looking at the field, what it looks like after the snow has melted. Check out what kind of condition the plants are in at this point. There's our Dexter Bull, Papa Soul. And next, we are showing you the early spring purple sprouting broccoli, and the snow has damaged them significantly. A lot of the stalks are broken, and the birds also got to the leaves on these ones. This is the cauliflower again, and you can see these heads have fully melted and are no longer salvageable. But there's some Brussels sprouts in there that are still maturing, so that's good. Here's our cabbage. They're not huge heads of cabbage, but there's still stuff in there to eat. And here we are back at the carrots with Mark, and he is digging up some carrots for me here. And they are looking pretty good. And here I am over at the cabbage, and you can see in the background those stalks on the purple broccoli right there. We'll see if anything comes of it, but these cabbages have tasted pretty good and turned out all right. This is the chard and kale patch over here. For some reason, those little birds that came in that were so hungry, they did not touch the chard. It must not be something that they like for some reason. But you can see the kale totally stripped. And then this chard, a lot of the outer leaves were damaged from the snow. But this fresh stuff that's growing out of the center of the plant is very tasty and sweet. It's not bitter at all. And so I picked a huge bunch of that, and we just throw it into the mix of any other vegetables that you're cooking that night. Stir fry it. You could throw it in some eggs or whatever. I am not especially fond of the chard, but I put it in my food anyway, just because I know that it's so good for you. Kind of sneak it in there. Don't tell anybody you're putting chard in there, but they'll never know. At this time of year, I'm really craving fresh greens, and what I have found at the store is that the lettuce is just not up to standard. The leaves are usually fairly wilted and damaged, and it's been picked over by a bunch of people going through there trying to get the best one. So I'll come down to the farm and just eat this chard, even though it's not my favorite thing, but it's better than eating something from the store that isn't up to standard. We also have a lot of winter squash right now that is left over from the fall crop that is supplementing our meals pretty significantly. And in addition to that, I have been sprouting clover and alfalfa seeds, and a month ago started some microgreens, and I will be doing a video on that shortly to show you how you can do that as well. I have some lettuce starts that are growing inside the house right now under some lights, and very soon I will be putting up a video to show you what that looks like and how I do it. But it is easy to grow food year-round. You might have to be a little creative in your particular situation, but I encourage you to find a way to make it work, because it's always going to be better than what you get at the store. Thank you so much for listening. Y'all have a great day, and good luck. Get to planting. Get your seeds going. Talk to you soon.